Hi, I'm David Braun, a U.S. generalist portfolio manager at PIMCO. We get asked a lot about the topic of why active management works in fixed income while it may not work in equities. While historical data in equity fund returns indicates that the majority of active managers failed to beat their benchmark, we believe bonds are different. When looking at historical returns of active investment-grade fixed income funds, those in the largest Morningstar categories, the data shows that the vast majority of them, over 75%, do indeed beat their respective benchmarks over a 10-year period. Several reasons for this exist, but in general, it comes down to structural inefficiencies that are part of the bond market and thus the index. The Barclays U.S. Aggregate Index, the bellwether index for U.S. bonds, today has more and more credit as a function of all the corporate issuance over the last 10 years. Credit is now almost a third of the index versus slightly over 20% 12 years ago. That's about a 50% increase. Not only has the overall credit exposure grown in the index, but the portion of lower rated credit has grown even more rapidly. As a result, the Barclays U.S. Aggregate Index has seen its BBB exposure double from 7% 12 years ago to 14% today. Passive investors are especially susceptible to this dynamic, given that they take risk on a more of an all-you-can-eat buffet style, meaning that they buy everything that's eligible to be in the index. Meanwhile, the active manager doesn't have to solely buy bonds that are given the halo effect of being in the index. Instead, we can do our own credit underwriting and buy bonds based on their own risk-reward merits. So what should investors take away from this discussion? Here are 3 things to think about. First, historically, active fixed income managers have beaten their benchmarks over a 10-year period. Second, when it comes to credit selection, given that we're in the midst of a downgrade and default cycle, it's critical that you get this right. Passive managers mechanistically buy credits once they're anointed index eligible and mechanistically sell them once they fall out of the index at depressed prices. An active manager has the luxury of being able to do their own credit homework and make their own buy and sell decisions on credits. And third, given the uneven and long recovery ahead of us, we think it's critical that investors take an active approach because the market ahead will be riddled with uncertainty, volatility, and winners and losers.